All right, so it is the 26th of August, 2026. So I just crossed a milestone of about 100 cold emails sent. So I just wanted to recap some of my lessons from sending that. So I'm just going to break down some of my stats here. So I've sent 100, more than 100 messages, about 105 cold emails, and that number goes up to 155 if you count cold DMs as well. I've sent them to 52 prospects. So as you see, I've been doing multiple touch-ins and follow-ups with people. From all that, I've gotten 4 engaged leads, which is really good. 5 no's and 1 booked call, actually. In fact, it's 5 engaged leads because I got that somebody engaged this morning. So when I worked out the stats, 4 engaged leads out of 52 prospects is actually a 7.7% engagement rate, which I'm new to cold email and this kind of thing, but from what I understand, that is insanely high. Like the benchmarks are between 1 and 2%. So I have definitely found a process that it seems to be working. So I want to break down some of the things that I think are like really working, like are really beneficial, some of the things that I have a hunch are helping, and just some other things that are top of mind. So the first thing is follow-ups and multiple touch points are absolute king. I was doing some research on some stats that they have, and they basically say like you have a 1% chance of somebody replying to your first email and like a 0.9% chance of them replying to the follow-up. So basically, if you send those 2 emails, then you double your chances of getting in touch with the person, which obviously is great, right? So you have to follow up. What I've been doing is I've been actually doing multiple touches on multiple platforms. So I would send an email first, and then I actually send an Instagram DM sort of recapping or summarizing the email, being like, hey, like just letting you know, like I sent an email, but like would love to hop on a chat to talk about how I can get you more paid partnerships. That's what it currently is. I actually plan to change that around because I don't like it the best, but the point is the multiple touches on multiple platforms have been working, that I have seen. The next thing, on top of the multiple touches, I also have been adding commenting under their posts in my process. So like how I reach out is I basically look at their page to see if they'd be a good fit for my platform. So while I do that look through, I just leave a little comment. I'm like, hey, love this format. Definitely keeping it in mind for my content going forward too. And usually I get like a little reply and this kind of thing. Actually, the person who booked a call, she reached out and she said in her first line, hey, like I reached out because I actually saw your comment on my page and wanted to follow up. So that is like direct validation from her of like it works, right? So those are my 3 things: email, DM, and then I send a comment. The next thing for me, and this is where we get into the more like I have a hunch it helps territory, is I think credibility of me has helped a ton. And what I mean by that is the whole thing I'm doing is I am sending, well, I want to work with content creators who talk about events and things to do in their local area. And I want to help them get more paid partnerships with events in that area. The reason I want to do this and the reason I'm even reaching out is because I am a content creator in my local area who does that in Trinidad and Tobago. And I've developed a process that works for me just by like trial and error. And I think it could definitely work for other people. So in my email, there is a lot of that I build up front. I'm like, hey, I'm a content creator just like you. I have more than 100,000 followers, which is true. And that allows me to get this level of commonality with them. So they are not like, oh, like this is not just a generic spam email, or this is not somebody who's trying to be my agent or all these kind of things. Like this is someone who is like me, understands my problems, is in my situation, wants to work with me. So I think that is exactly the vibe I'm going for, and I believe that is allowing me to have this this quite astronomical engagement rate of 7.7%. I truly believe that is a big part of it. Another big part is the offer. So I'm in the prototyping phase of this. I'm very much taking Alex Hormozi's advice to heart of you should not be charging anybody if this is the first time doing it for somebody, right? So I'm reaching out and I'm saying, hey, like I've developed this process. It helps me get 3 to 5 new paid partnerships a month. I want to show you the process, and if you like it, I would love to work with you for free for a month to see if it works for you, and I just want an honest testimonial at the end of it, right? So that is a very clear, like, obviously there's very little risk. There's maybe they might waste some time with a call, but it's like a very good upside. So obviously I think that has helped with the offer. And I'm sure when I transition to more of a paid thing, maybe the ratios change. But also I'm not sure, because my offer is always going to be some element of you don't have to pay me until I make you money, because I think that's a very compelling thing. And also I wouldn't want them to pay me if I'm not making them money. So there's some honesty in that. So I think that credibility and commonality with them definitely helps. Obviously I think the offer really helps. The next thing I would say helps a ton is always ending every piece of communication with a next step and making it as easy as possible for the person. So in my first emails, I didn't do this in the start, but I'm doing this now. I tell them, hey, like, this is what I've been able to achieve, this kind of thing. And then I hit them, when would be a good time this week for us to have a 10-minute chat, right? And when they reply, then I come in and I'm like, oh, okay, great. Like, I'm glad to hear that you're interested. Would Monday between 10 and 12 or Tuesday between 5 and 6 work better for you? So that's kind of the direction I'm shifting to, and the framework I found that works the best. It also works the best for my content creation clients, the clients I reach out to do advertising for them for content creation, is to give them 2 options, right? So you show what the next step is. Hey, like, let's book a call. Give them 2 options, and usually for me, time frames work. So like, hey, does sometime between Monday 9 to 10 a.m. work? Or, so there's the second option, Tuesday 4 to 6. And usually they'll be like, oh yeah, that works, and they'll say their time. And if not, I also put an extra thing of like, or if neither of those times work, you can click my calendar booking link and you can choose a better time for you. I think that's been the best overall combination of things, because it allows people to it gives people 2 options that they can select into, and if those don't work, they can select their own option. Like, it really shows you as being very available and willing to work with them. So those would be my things that I think are really helping. And definitely I'm glad I'm having this journal, because I need to double down on this part, because I don't think I implemented well enough in my emails currently. The next thing is, well, a big thing I've heard is speed to lead is very important. So if it is somebody messages back, to message back as soon as possible. But what I found is that has made me very like anxious in a weird way. So any notification I get on my phone, I'm like, oh, I gotta check it. Any, things like that. What I am doing instead now is I changed my email notification for my email that I'm sending the cold emails on to a different sound. And after this, I will change my Instagram notification to that different sound as well. And what that is going to do is that when I hear that chime, and that's going to be a chime specific to only these things, it'll be like, oh, okay, this is a cold prospect. Let me address this. And then everything else I can kind of ignore or address, as I see fit. But I hope that is going to reduce the anxiety a bit. And this is an aside with this whole cold email DMing stuff. It's really been like I don't know if the word is nerve-wracking, but it really tests my patience. You know, like, because I feel like I'm just sitting there. Let me see if I could add some more light in here. Oh, look at that, looking beautiful. Yeah, but like, I feel like it's really testing my patience, because, you know, you send out the emails, and like, ideally, if you want to be like a normal person, you kind of have to wait a little bit for the person to get back to you and all this kind of stuff. And it just takes time, and like, I want success now. So it's really been like yeah, it's growing my patience, maybe is the better way for that. And, you know, waiting for the notification sounds and hearing them has been one of those elements of being like, oh, I gotta check. But I think the notification sound is gonna help that, and make it more doable. Another thing is, I think with some of my engaged leads, I was a little too eager. Hopefully this doesn't impact the overall thing, but like, two of them I was talking to for a little bit, and, you know, I hadn't heard from them for about 24 hours. It was like 20 hours, 22 hours, and I sent a follow-up email. I think I'm gonna hold back on doing it so soon, maybe after 24 hours, just because I don't want them to feel like, oh, like, is this guy desperate? Or and I also don't want them to get annoyed as well. So that is something I keep in mind. I don't think it's a huge problem for these two, but it's something I'll keep in mind for my next set of engaged leads that I get. This is a controversial one, which is, for all of my cold outreach, all my cold emails, those 100, I've been using my own personal like Gmail account for my content creation brand. Not the most recommended. Everybody recommends like get a separate domain and those kind of things, but since my list was so small and I just wanted to start as soon as possible, I was like, let me just use this. You know, my domain, my email address is already like super warm. Let's see what happens. And I've been very happy to say that it has worked, right? Like, it's paid off. Like, nothing's gone wrong because of it, and I'm very happy to say that. And, you know, I imagine a lot of the success I've had deliverability wise has been because I've been using my personal email. You know, like, I think because of that, it hasn't reached anybody's spam folder or gone to promotions or all these kind of things. So, you know, if you are in a very specific situation of having like a super niche that I do, I would recommend it. You know, if not, don't. But it's working for me, so I am gonna keep doing it. And the last thing, and this was actually a mistake that I made, is to answer the person wherever they reply. And this is a note I made in the video I made for today's progress. So I'll separate them. The answer them wherever they reply is a mistake I had, because somebody actually reached back out on Instagram, and I basically told them something along the lines of like, hey, like, yeah, this is in regards to the email I sent you. Let me know if you got it. At that time, I guess I was more concerned about deliverability and making sure I wasn't in the spam folder. But realistically, what I should have done is, if they show interest on Instagram, explain everything, continue the message on Instagram, and then, you know, after that we can go to email or whatever. But if you have them there, get them there and talk with them there, because, you know, to get them to another platform is them doing more work, and people are always going to be likely to do less work than more work. So it's easier for that person to just stop replying overall than for them to like go and check in their Gmail and read through and then send it. I should have just sent it there, and that's what I'm going to do going forward. Wherever they reply is where we talk. And another note on that, I've been sending like DM touch-ins that have been kind of like, hey, you know, it's basically just been like, hey, I sent you an email, and then I'd give the CTA of like, would love to show you how I get more paid partnerships. I think I want to give them a little bit more context in that email, that DM, I should say, because I think I need to summarize the email a little bit to be like, hey, look, I'm a content creator like you. I have made this process that gets me more paid partnerships. Would love to show you, and if you like the process. Would love to work for you for free for a month to see if it works. Just want a free testimonial. Let me know when would be a good time, right? Like really condense it. I could also mention like, hey, the email has more info. But yeah, I think that would be good because I don't want to confuse people. And if somebody is coming into a DM confused, like, you know, they might as well be a no or a no reply because, yeah, confused people don't make choices. So those have been all my lessons I've learned from sending upwards of 150 cold messages. It's been a really interesting journey. I have really, I don't have to say enjoyed it, but like progress has been happening. And I think this is one of those types of things that is very character building, you know, because you really have to like bash your head into a wall for a while and just go and go and go and go and go with no sort of feedback to see what happens, right? So it's been good, and I'm glad that I'm getting this sort of experience now because I think it's a great experience to have as a relatively young entrepreneur. I'm 27, turning 28 in a couple months, so you know the youth the youth is fading from my eyes. But yeah, I think in all things considered, I'm quite young, and this is a good experience I have now, and I'm glad that I'm getting some successes with it. So fingers crossed, more successes. Fingers crossed I get to book more calls, and yeah, maybe I'll check in when I'm at my 200th or 500th email checkpoint. So I'll leave it there. Thank you guys. Hoping all the successes with your business and everything else you're trying to achieve. Take care.